Okay. Well, I'm excited to dive in. Good evening. It is evening for you, right?
It is late afternoon.
Yeah. It's still, why is this not working for me? One second. AirPods Pro should work. Okay, say something.
Hello. Testing.
The strangest thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, last test.
Testing. One,
Oh,
two.
yay. Okay, there you are. Perfect. Okay, so we are recording. So a little review before we start our inquiry. Um, we were, talking about the ringing in the ears, the sensitivity, but we kind of rooted at least one kind of, I'd say, unresolved conflict, or I could refer to them as like open loops. So there's uh, potentially the DHS with your father, and then there's still some feeling of that relationship being not totally reconciled, which the way that we connected the dots, at least that it made sense to me, is I would bet when that's reconciled, you would go into a lasting healing phase, because as long as there's even the smallest amount of threat or danger, even if that's not consciously what's going on, if there's like a protection or if there's anger, because anger again is like the primal translation of anger is I need to change or control something, but I don't have power over that which I want to change or control. So then it's there can't be safety and anger together. Anger is the attempt to get safety. So essentially we want to see what's there, because it does seem like this original DHS was your dad yelling. Does that all add up so far?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so this first part is just called finding a frame. So go ahead and just close your eyes. And the reason we close our eyes is it just enhances our other senses, especially our memory. And find that scene with your father when he's yelling, and see if you can just freeze the frame, the moment that had the shock, the overwhelm, and powerlessness, and that feeling of isolation. What's the scene? What's happening when you get there?
Oh, my dad is shouting at my sister. I'm not in the room, but I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's crying, and he shouts at her in a very derogative way, "Stop crying."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and all I want to do, like, I don't know if I wanted to do it then, but all I want to do now is like, "Wah!"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like defend your sister. Stop him.
I don't know if it's defending my sister or if it's defending myself, if it's protecting myself. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to, well, just want to make it stop.
Yeah. Okay, so be in that scene. Hear him. He yells, "Stop crying." Your sister's crying. And just see what comes first impression. Well, before I ask this, what's the feeling in that scene? Is it just anger? Is there fear? What's the feeling?
I don't know how to differentiate what I'm feeling now or
Mm-hmm.
what it was in the past.
What's here now?
A lot of tension around my neck here, neck,
Mm-hmm.
top of the
Mm-hmm.
shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just wanting to shout, the anger. There's no fear, just
Mm-hmm.
anger.
Where does the anger live? Is it in your belly? Can you feel
No,
kind of, no,
I
in the
think
shoulders?
it's the upper part of the
Yeah.
body.
Okay. Okay, so stay in that scene. And can you remember in that scene, even if there's not feeling on it now, what the emotion was? Anger, fear, What was the emotion in the scene, if best that you could remember?
I think it was fear.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, in order for you to be in fear, what must be true about you in that scene?
Say it again.
In order for you to be feeling fear, what must be true about you in that scene?
That I am terrified, but I'm alive.
Yeah, you're terrified, but what are we terrified of?
That he will come and shout at me.
Hmm. Yeah, and if he shouts at you, then what would that say about you?
That I won't be able to defend myself.
Hmm.
That I'm weak. That I'm not good enough.
Mm. I'm weak. I'm not good enough. I want to look here too. If I'm defending myself against something, that thing that I'm defending against, it must be a threat to me, right? We're never undefended if we simultaneously believe we're, let's say, something like in danger. It's like, okay, I need to defend and protect. So, what must be true about you if you need to defend yourself in that scene?
That I've done something wrong. That I'm not good enough.
Mm. Done something wrong. I'm not good enough. What about, and these are my words, but I want your words, but what about something like I'm not safe or I'm in danger? Anything there?
I'm not in danger. It doesn't resonate with me.
What about I'm not safe?
I don't know if I, at that age, if I felt lack of safety. I don't. I maybe I just don't understand what lack of safety was back then.
Yeah, yeah. So how we draw out how our young mind perceived the situation is starting with the emotion. So if I'm afraid, if someone's yelling and I'm afraid, I have to be personalizing it in some way. Right? So I'm only afraid of something that is a threat to me, that can hurt or harm me, that let's just say in general is not in my best interest, but it's more insidious than that. So of
All
course
I've
go ahead.
all I've got in my head is like I have to hide,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just feel overwhelmed. Even the things
Hmm.
you're telling to me, it just goes through because I feel overwhelmed.
Hmm. Yeah. And if we have to hide from something, then what must be true in that scene if you have to hide? What must be true for you in that scene if you have to hide?
That I'm in danger.
Hmm. Yeah, there's danger. So let's start there because this is one that accompanies most of our contexts, especially the ones that bring fear. So, see that little girl, she's in her room, and I'm not safe and I'm in danger. It's the same kind of context, just from different sides. Usually, I'm in danger is more intense. So, I'm going to start there. Just see yourself in that scene, just in that moment when you're hearing him yell, just in that moment, I'm in danger. Is it true? Yeah, so experience the no in that scene. But before, obviously, as the little girl, it was a yes. So before we fully get to the no, who do you become as the little girl in that scene when that context comes on? And again, at no choice of your own. You didn't sit there and say, "Would I like to be safer in danger?" It just turns on. It's a reaction. It's not a choice. So who do you become in that scene when that belief comes on? I'm in danger.
Tasmanian devil. I just want to rip everything apart.
Yeah, so anger, the hiding, you mentioned you want to hide.
Mm.
Anything else? What does it look like to be you in that scene when that thought comes on, I'm in danger?
I need to be quiet,
Mm-hmm.
invisible.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wonder if that experience of I need to be quiet, hide, be invisible, and there's also the anger and rage. I wonder if that's been a theme throughout your life in moments of feeling I'm in danger.
Mm. Yeah.
Hmm. So, see, now we're seeing a way of being that has to turn this program on. Because as long as the danger keeps getting solidified, proven right, we keep having our response and our body keeps having its adaptation. And this is just an important step to make the pattern so clear so we can deeply understand it. Ultimately, so you can look at it and go, oh, I don't need that anymore. And we'll get there. So stay in the scene.
Can I share something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is my mind playing up now because I don't fully trust my memories.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what I just have in my mind is a true memory,
Mm-hmm.
and is that how I felt and behaved,
Mm-hmm.
or this is the perception of the memory,
Mm-hmm.
or if now my mind is pushing how I should behave.
Mm-hmm. You're familiar with the fifth law, German medicine? Quintessence?
Remind me.
Everything, it first speaks to the physical level, but then it becomes a bit more philosophical. It says every symptom is happening for you, for your survival, for your reproduction. And it extends to all of nature. I would say it extends to everything. So I would say this memory, it doesn't necessarily matter did it exactly happen this way, but you're having this version of it, whether it's the exact or not, for a reason that we need to have it this way. So let's just see what's here without the is this exactly what happened, because how could we ever know? What's important is this is what's coming up in the psyche. And it represents this core conflict theme. That's what matters. So see yourself in that scene and freeze that frame right when it's like danger. I'm not safe. I'm in danger. I need to hide, be invisible. And just in that moment, we're checking it again. I'm in danger. Just in that moment, not a past, not a future. Is it true just in that moment?
Maybe not, but there's no strong no.
So is there a hanging on yes, a little yes in there? We want to follow what is coming.
And again, I don't know if my mind is just giving me answers. Yeah, you should be safe. There's your mom, there's your grandma in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and the dad would never harm you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's a
that's the
great way.
reason.
That's a great way an adult would
Hmm.
rationalize it, right?
Hmm.
So just try this on. See what happens in your body. Either it'll close and tighten, or it'll open or kind of stay neutral. See yourself in that scene, and we're just going to say the opposite. In this scene, I'm totally safe and there is no danger. What happens in your body? And try to actually say it actually out loud. In this scene, I'm safe and there is no danger.
In that scene, I am safe and there is no danger. Items around here.
Yeah, so that tells me there's some danger. So let's explore the danger. What's the proof? What's the evidence in that scene to that little girl that there's danger?
Yearning's father.
hmm Yeah, so if someone yells, I'm in danger. So let's take off our interpretation of yelling. So it's loud sound, loud vocalizing. I'm in danger. Is it true? There's loud, because what happens now is the psyche, just like how tracks develop, if we're around any loud yelling, that will typically go back here. So is it true if someone yells, you are in danger? And just look for the evidence of that in the scene. He's yelling and you're in danger. Is it true?
I don't think so. But I'm not 100% convinced.
Mhm. So let's look at it from the little girl's perspective. Be in the room. Now, this thought, I'm in danger, is that coming from his sounds or little girl's mind?
Yeah, I think that the word danger doesn't resonate with either, whether it's his voice or the mind.
What would your word be then? If he yells, then I'm.
Not important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's look at that. In that scene and in that scene only, I'm not important. Is it true?
Yes,
And what's your proof just in that scene?
because the family is not around me. Their attention is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. And what did that little girl want that she didn't get in that scene?
Attention,
Mm-hmm.
recognition, being
Mm-hmm.
seen.
Yeah. So if my family came close to me, if they were giving me attention, what would that give me?
A cuddle, a smile, a hand.
Mm-hmm. And what would that allow me to feel?
loved, appreciated, confident,
Mhm.
worthy, happy,
Mhm.
joy.
So let's see if we could find one word that feels most true for that little girl. First, yelling happens. You're afraid. There's this reaction. That's like, I'm not important. No one's here. No one's with me. No one's giving me attention. If they were to give me attention, it would let me feel loved, safe, happy. What would your word be? Or important, maybe?
Yeah, I think out of all those words, important
Hmm.
probably resonates the most.
Yeah, so let's work with that one. Someone's attention on me determines if I'm important or not.
Yeah.
Who do you become when you believe that thought in relationship?
Say it again.
Who do you become in relationship when that thought comes on? I'm important. I'm only important if there's attention put on me. Who do you become in your relationships?
I become bigger. I'm becoming in charge rather than a partner.
Hmm. So kind of like, look at my importance, look at me. Is it a vying for their attention?
Is there what, sorry?
Like a vying or a reaching for attention? Or making yourself important in some way?
Yeah, I think so.
What does that look like in your relationships when this thought comes on? I'm not important. Unless there's attention, what are the behaviors and patterns that come from that?
That I can be disrespected, like I can be treated badly.
Hmm. Anything else?
Yeah, that I'm not worthy.
Hmm.
A proper relationship, which um yeah, which is like a loving relationship, which is a
Hmm.
partnership.
Hmm. And we just want to notice when the thought comes on, I'm not important unless I have your attention. If I have to adapt myself, mm, seek attention, everything you just described, notice how that has to, over time, make you feel less and less important. Another way I put it is, if I'm searching for love, it means love is not here or I'm not loved as I am. So the more I search for it, the less loved I feel because I can never actually find it. Or if I do, then I end up really needing this that seeming source of it, like an addiction.
Can I give you context?
Hmm.
I'm very loved. I'm very loved by many people, my parents, my husband, but I don't feel deep love for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're carrying around, I'm not important, this will be at least one reason love will not be able to penetrate. So all we can do is undo kind of like the stains in the window glass that blot out the light, and then more can come in and more can come in. So this will all be connected. So let's stay in that scene. And that's a little girl's mind. Attention on me means I'm important. Stay there. Is it true?
Yes, but in an aggressive way.
What do you mean by that?
But from a very kind of hidden victim posture,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, where I was hiding my head and my
Mm-hmm.
hands around my head and my ears. I kind of stood up and said, I am important in a kind of shouty, demanding way.
Mm. Are you saying this is what happened in the scene, or is this where the scene is going now?
This is where the scene is going
Mm.
now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it feels toxic. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel good.
Yeah. And what you're doing, you're jumping ahead in a good way, is seeing that the more we try to be important, the more disconnected, the more self devaluing we will end up feeling. Simply because this is what happens anytime we're not in the truth of who we are. So, from your view now as the adult, is attention what makes someone important? Makes a lot of sense to a child. But looking back now, can you absolutely know that that's true? That's where your importance comes from.
My mind is blocking things.
So, see if you could land on a yes or a no, just in that scene. If I were to get attention, that's proof that I am important. Is it true?
Yes.
Yes. Now, who do you become when you believe that attention gives me my importance and you don't get the attention?
Say it again.
Who do you become? What does it look like to be you when attention equals importance and you don't get the attention that you want? Then who do you become?
Not important.
Yeah. So is that coming from a lack of attention, or is it coming from the belief, the thinking that says, if you give me attention, I'm important. If you take it away, I'm not important? What is the source of that pain?
My mind.
Because I would assert you've probably been given attention in many ways that you didn't want in your life. And in those moments, I highly doubt your mind said, oh, look how important I am. It probably said, get away from me.
Yeah.
Right? And we just want to see in that scene, what does that way of seeing or perceiving have to do with your parents whatsoever, just in that scene? Dad's yelling, mom is somewhere else. Thought comes on, I don't have attention, so I must not be important.
Irrelevant.
You mean you feel irrelevant?
No, I feel that importance becomes
Yeah,
irrelevant.
right. So let's check it now. So be in that scene. Is it true in that scene, just in that scene, that I'm not important?
No.
Yeah, so see that little girl? And how does the scene change in the absence of I'm not important? If you couldn't believe that, how does the scene change?
She's smiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what might she do next in the absence of I'm not important? If you couldn't believe it, how might the scene go on?
To her own stuff, whatever. Just not
Mm-hmm.
pay attention.
Mm-hmm. In that version of the scene, are you safe?
Yes.
And how does she feel just in the absence of I'm not important? What is there in the absence?
It's good.
Hmm?
Like the scene is in the background and she just does her own stuff in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do you need to block out the sound in that scene in order to be yourself, be good?
No.
No. Do you need attention just in that scene to be yourself, to be good?
No.
Now, I'm going to be you and I want to see how your body responds to this. I'm going to be you speaking to your dad, and I'm not suggesting you do this, but I want to demonstrate what I call the undefended or even unconflicted self. And I'm going to see what happens in your body. Dad, remember that time that you yelled at my sister? In that moment, I had this thought: I'm not important. And when I believed it, I curled up, I closed down, I hid, was rageful and angry at you. And I pulled my love away, which we don't do this consciously. It's just anytime we're in survival, we can't love. We can't actually love another person while we're in that state. And we close it all off. And if that's affected you in any way, I'm sorry. I'm realizing now it's not true that I'm not important. And I'm working on it. What does that feel like?
I want to cry. There's no anger. There's no aggression.
Yeah. Opening the heart that shut down and at no fault of your own. That's just exactly what a child would do. And she's done it over and over and over. So now it's this undefended part coming back, like she was before. Might even be a version with mom. Mom, I realized in this moment where dad yelled, I had this thought: I'm not important. I've carried it most of my life. And when I believed it in that moment, I shut down, I closed off, I hid, became invisible, filled with rage. And at times I thought you needed to give me attention or say something. And I'm realizing that that's not true. That's what I actually needed was to question this belief that I'm not important. And I'm starting to see that that's not true. So if you ever felt me wanting to either change you or close off to you, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's okay. No bad emotions there.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll take it to one more level. Is your sister in danger in that scene?
No,
No. Dad's making loud sound. Sister's crying. Now we're meeting reality without our interpretations. Does she need any kind of protecting or saving if she's not in danger?
no.
So, how would that even change maybe how you saw your sister in that scene, just for that little girl?
As a victim, but a few minutes ago um when I, as a little girl, started feeling that I can do my own stuff around the room without,
Mm-hmm.
and when I've heard that shouting at my sister, I've actually started being, aha, he got you, in a, you know, cheeky, childish way.
Yeah, so it's there's a little more levity.
Yeah.
Now, the same way for you, little girl, little Monica, how the thought, I'm not important. We just find the source of the pain in that scene is this thought, I'm not important. Came on faster than lightning, no choice of your own. So, where would the source of your sister's pain and suffering come from in that scene? From the sound or from her interpretation of the sound?
On the interpretation of the sound.
Yeah, so if she's a victim to anything, she's a victim to her own psyche. Maybe it was, I'm bad, I'm in danger, I'm not allowed to cry, I'm too much, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what her context is.
Is her context important?
No, but I'm just pointing to the undoing of this drama triangle that she's a victim to your dad in that scene, and we're meeting reality without the story. And the reality is dad yelled, sister cried. Right? Sister's crying, dad yelled. This is what happened. As soon as I go into, oh, she's a victim to him, then there has to be a savior. He has to be a perpetrator, and I will keep the dynamic going in my psyche. In other words, my psyche will say, protect from this ever happening again. And that's what the program is for. Block out the sound. So why I point you to her is to really see if there's anything left in your psyche around the scene.
I don't think so.
What about Dad? See him in that scene, and without a story that, I don't matter. How does that change your experience of your dad in that scene?
Yeah, I don't feel that way.
Yeah, so how does it change for that little girl? How does she experience her dad just in that scene without the thought I'm not important?
She doesn't pay attention.
Mm-hmm. And the things that we don't give attention to, they atrophy. I'll say it this way too. It might be as simple as, oh, Dad's angry. And then without a story, yeah, he's angry. If I'm not in danger and it's not true that I'm not important, then Dad's angry. Okay. See, until it hits one of our contexts, that especially at that young of an age, we really have no choice but to believe. Until it hits a context, it will just pass through us, meaning it's okay to hear it because it's going to go in and out. Sound's going to come, sound's going to go. But it sticks to us the moment it's like, okay, well, I'm not important or I'm not safe. Then it sticks. So I'm going to give this example one more time, and I want to see if this feels like something you can do. Not that you have to, but the resolution is feeling like you can, like you have the choice, like there's not a threat. So it's, Dad, remember that time you yelled at my sister? I'm realizing in that moment, I started to believe that I'm not important. And I hid, I closed down, I was angry at you, I was rageful at you, and I wanted to change you. And I'm sorry if that's affected you. I'm realizing now it's not true that I'm not important, but I couldn't see it at the time. And so if you ever felt any of that from me, I'm sorry. I want to own my side of our relationship, and I'm working on it. What happens in your body when I say that?
So when you were saying that, I was triggered by lots of noises from downstairs, and my neck started stiffing up. And
Oh,
your
in this
words,
moment.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
and whatever you were saying was secondary.
Okay, so let's try it again. You pick up the phone. You call your dad. Hey, Dad, remember this scene? Remember this moment? You yelled at my sister. I'm realizing that in that moment, I made it mean that I'm not important. And when I believed it, I hid. I wanted to Maybe avoid you or shut down. So anger at you is rageful. And shut off towards you. And if that's affected you in any way, I'm sorry. I'm realizing now it's not true, that I wasn't important. And I'm working on it.
I don't think I could say that.
And why not?
Shame and worry that I will be perceived as a weak one.
Mm. So if vulnerability is weakness, what is strength?
All I have in my head now, which I disagree with, is not having those weak moments.
Hmm? Yeah, so just try it on. I'm weak.
Mm.
Another way to say I'm having a weak moment is I'm believing something that's not true, that's causing me fear, pain, sadness. Does that make you weak?
No,
Is telling the truth about a situation make you weak?
I know that it doesn't, but there's something about that I just don't feel my dad would comprehend.
Mm-hmm. And what's the worst case scenario if he doesn't comprehend?
Will use it against me.
Mm-hmm. Give me an example. What would he say?
In, I don't know, any heated conversation in the future, he would recite back that, well, you are weak, so you have no grounds to speak up. You're wrong.
Mm. And what feels more painful, your dad calling you weak or that you're wrong?
Oh, my dad calling me weak.
Mm-hmm. So let's go in that scene. I'm weak. What's your proof in that scene, just in that scene, that you're weak?
That I don't have enough evidence to prove or to share my point.
And what is the point? What is your point?
Well, any point in any conversation. Could be
Mm-hmm.
conversation about global warming, could be a conversation about shoes, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't understand my position, I'm weak. Who do you become around your dad when you believe that thought? Do you withhold? Do you try to prove that you're right? What happens?
If I withhold, then there is no argument. And I prove, then there is argument.
Yeah, it's a double bind. So if I withhold, I'll end up feeling weak, right? That's the paradox. If I feel like I have to hold back, not be myself in any way, I will feel insecure, I will feel weak. If I feel like I have to prove, I will feel weak. Is what must be true about me if I have to prove? When I'm not necessarily sharing something for its own sake, I'm trying to get something. Approval, recognition.
Yeah, it's the recognition. I want him to be proud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if he's proud of me, well, first of all, what must be true about you if you're looking for him to be proud? If you're trying to get him to be proud, what must be true?
Well, that I'm not good enough.
Hmm?
There's something lacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's look in that scene again. Context being, I'm not important. Isn't it true in that scene that you did feel like something was lacking? Your importance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to be your dad for a moment. Just feel this. Oh, well, you're wrong and you're weak. Now I'm going to be you. Yeah, in that scene, I was wrong. I believed I wasn't important. And when I believed that, I did feel weak. I felt extremely weak. How can I not feel weak if I walk around feeling like I'm not important? And I'll either withhold around you or try to prove to you, and all of that makes me feel weak when I do that. So you're right. I can find that. He can't hold it against you if you don't hold it against you. There's a switch here to realizing that this is what strength actually is. It's the courage to tell the truth, even if it feels incredibly vulnerable. What does that feel like?
Sure.
Try this on. When I believe I'm not important, well, of course, if I have to withhold and hide, I will feel very weak, right? I will feel very weak in my relationships if I feel not important. If I feel like I need to convince, or I feel like I need you to be proud and you're not, look at who I become. Desperate for your approval. It doesn't mean that you are weak, but you will feel weak because you can't control if he feels proud or not. So you'll always feel this kind of insecurity or weakness around this particular part. So does the conversation feel scary if you, oh yeah, you're weak? Does it feel scary if that's something you can own? It doesn't mean you are weak. We can check that context if that's still really alive. But it's like, yeah, when I believe I'm not important, I withhold around you, or I try to prove that I'm right. Either of those options that I've done over and over does make me feel weak. And I'm working on it. I've had this thought that I just want you to be proud of me. It's like, then I'd be good enough, but I'm also realizing that that's not true. And I put that pressure on you to make me feel enough. That's not your job. It's not his job because he literally can't do it. What does that conversation with him feel like now? Is there still resistance? Do you feel more open?
There's tightness in my neck.
And if I said, have that conversation now with your dad, what happens?
My pride wants to say, yeah, I will do it.
And what's the but?
But there is a but.
Yeah, what's the but? But what?
That I will break into pieces.
Yeah, hopefully. It's called healing. What's scarier? Never letting yourself break into pieces or holding it together and wanting to be right for the next 30 years? Which one is actually scarier?
While trying to hold it together for the next and pretend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and ever since that moment, you've been doing that. Now, it can be more subtle at times, as you've obviously done quite a bit of work. But we are just acknowledging that that has been the primary pattern keeping you from solving. So, what's the fear of just, when we say falling to pieces, what we're really saying is, I'd feel sadness, shame, grief. I would feel something. What's the fear of falling apart, especially in front of your dad?
Rejection.
Like you've been doing to yourself? Rejecting, letting yourself feel. Think of his words in that scene. Don't cry. It sounds like your words to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, whose rejection is more scary? That continued way of living or his?
My own rejection.
Yeah, because that's going to happen more times than he can ever reject anyone because we do it on a daily eventually. Another way to put it is if I am breaking down in front of someone, they say, don't cry. Well, if I can't believe that it's wrong, bad, or weak, I just cry. He says I don't cry and I cry. How can I be rejected if I don't reject myself? How is it possible for him to reject me if I'm not rejecting me? If I don't stop me, if I don't say to me, I'm weak. Is it weak to cry?
No.
And turn it around. What's the opposite of weak?
Strong.
Hmm? So maybe this is an opportunity for you to tap into what it truly feels like to be strong. And maybe that's something your dad couldn't teach you. Because anger also says, I can't be vulnerable, so I stay on the surface, I stay in protection, and that's obviously where he was. But this is how he's unconsciously fathering you. He's not giving you the direct guidance on what true strength is so you can develop it yourself. Because he doesn't know it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know him. So just to continue the undefended self on this call, just to feel through it. I also have this fear that if I were to cry in front of you, it would just mean that I'm weak. I've held it back most of my life, and I'm realizing it's not true, that I'm weak. For crying, in fact, I feel a lot more strong when I'm this honest with you.
Maybe.
And maybe to having the call.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what's in the way of the yes? What's the fear?
I think the fear is about the magnitude of crying, that I won't be able to even say anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's scary about that?
They will perceive me mentally unstable.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's look at this pattern for a moment. When I believe I'm not important, and when I believe I'm weak, I will become mentally unstable. All that really means is I'll focus on the past or I'll have anxiety about the future. It's not like it's a condition, it's just what happens when we have unresolved conflicts. We ruminate. People call that all kinds of things. Or we're in anxiety. All of this does not feel stabilizing. It feels the opposite. Man, are you mentally unstable? Oh, man, this pattern has definitely at times made me feel unstable, anxious, hiding, withholding. All of that will create instability.
There is something which came up.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to share?
Mm-hmm.
I've just felt that I want to protect him.
Yeah, from?
His first wife, so my sister's biological mother, she committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
She jumped out of the window and he couldn't grab her.
Wow.
And she comes from a family with mental issues, unstable mental issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that protection now in my psyche came up, thinking, I just don't want to add to a burden of all the trauma he went through.
Mm-hmm. Well, what must come from that is that you love him, that you care about him. We only want to protect things that we love. What kind of person needs protection?
Weak.
Hmm. Do you see if you continue to believe that you need to protect him, you're seeing him as weak? You'd have to treat him on some level like
Some
he's weak.
Yeah, some parts of his existence and behaviors I find weak. There
Mm-hmm.
are parts where I feel that he is a very strong man.
Mm-hmm. Have to see him as weak. If you see you as weak, eventually you have to see him and everyone that has those same characteristics as weak. We have to do it. It's how we get in touch with our unconscious. But here's what I found, and if you get this, this is very profound. We will, 9 times out of 10, get back the version of them we believe they are. If I believe he can't handle it, he's weak, probably won't be able to handle it, and he'll feel weak. Because it changes how I am around them. I might tiptoe, I might walk in eggshells, I might. That's reinforcing, just reinforcing he can't handle it.
Yeah, I tiptoe around him.
Hmm? So, what's the worst case scenario if you were to uncontrollably cry and it brings up this trauma from his previous wife? What's the worst case scenario?
He will shout and he will leave the room.
Mm-hmm. Is that the absolute worst case scenario?
He will get heart attack because of his anger.
Mm. It's almost like if I let myself be truly vulnerable around him, I could do him harm or kill him even. Who do you become when you believe that with him? If I can't be this honest and vulnerable with him, if I am that honest and vulnerable, he could be hurt, harmed, or have a heart attack. Well, then who do you become when you believe that? You said tiptoeing. What else?
Controlling what I'm saying, what I'm sharing.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't that create resentment over time? Even if it's
Yeah,
only self, yeah. So you end up, and I'm using this more metaphorically, but you end up hurting him anyway. I'm not saying directly, but when I'm resentful towards someone or withhold, eventually I'm going to create the very conflict I'm trying to avoid. They're going to get upset, they're going to get angry, they're going to do the very thing I'm trying to avoid. Does that happen?
I'm not too sure.
I'll give you an example. If you tiptoe around him long enough, and you start to feel resentful, who do you become when you start to feel resentful towards him?
I will be looking for ways to punish him.
Hmm? So just notice this, that worst case scenario future is like the ultimate punishment. Almost. It's like he's now going to be so hurt and harmed from this. He could have a heart attack and die. But this is what's already happening, just not as extreme. This is describing the current dynamic, not a future one. In other words, the worst case scenario is always what we're already living. We just exaggerate it. So there might be already this feeling of I'm hurting him.
Yeah.
And why does that seem to make sense? What would I get out of it? If I successfully hurt him enough, what would that give me?
Revenge? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. And if I get revenge over him, what would that give me?
I don't know, peace of mind that he will stop fighting and stop shouting
Mm-hmm.
and stop controlling everything.
Mm-hmm. So let's turn it around. I will have peace of mind when I'm not controlling and shouting, trying to control everything that has to do with him, even if I'm only shouting in my mind.
Mm.
See, what happens is when we're so young, we first internalize it, but then we externalize it. And so we go, if I can get revenge on him, get him to stop yelling and controlling, I'll have peace. But the opposite is actually true. If I stop trying to control him, stop yelling at him in my mind, wanting to hurt or harm him, I'll have peace. Typically, this is when he will also shift. Not always, but very often when you shift, he shifts. So far, it's been the other way around. Is there any guilt or shame?
No guilt. No, I don't think so.
And let's just check one more time. If I successfully got revenge and he stopped yelling and controlling, put it this way, if he stops yelling and controlling me completely, total 180, what would that say about me?
That I am controlling.
Let me say it again. If he stopped trying to control you and if he stopped yelling at you, what would that say about you? What would it give to you? But more specifically, what would it mean about you if he changed how he's being towards you? So like I'm good enough, I'm loved, what would it be?
I don't know, irrelevant. It's not I am irrelevant, that him
Mm-hmm.
doing those things is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you need revenge?
No.
Okay, so try this. I'm going to be you and the undefended self. What I also want to share with you, Dad, is there's part of me that has wanted revenge to make you feel hurt because I had this belief that that would change you. You would stop yelling, being angry. Because again, when you're angry, I make it mean I'm not important. And I've had this belief that in order for me to feel at peace, you need to change. But I'm realizing I need to change. And I'm sorry for attacking you, making you wrong. I realize that's where I'm getting it wrong. And I'm working on that. What does that
Mm.
feel like?
A bit out of my comfort zone.
Good.
It feels scary.
Yeah. Because if I shared that honestly, what's the fear?
Confessing to him that I've been a bad person.
Mm. And what this tells me is that we just don't fully understand quite yet. You're very close as to why that made sense to a really young part of you. If I can hurt, harm him, change him, it's going to give me something. And at the time, it will feel like it's the only way to get it. So what might that be? The younger you, if I could change him, hurt him, make sure he knows what he's doing is wrong, he feels pain about it, and he changes, what would it give me to the little girl?
I don't know, power. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe power. Anything else if he just fully changed?
Maybe empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's go back to that original scene. What was the source of this powerlessness? Was it his yelling, or was it the thought, I am just not important and I'm going to live it out?
It was the fault.
Yeah. So, did he ever take away your power?
No.
We only look for power when we feel powerless. So, again, part of this solving is feeling like you have the choice to reveal yourself in this way to him. And like you, reclaiming of power is the reclaiming of choice. Previous to the session, it might have been my only choice is to change, control, Manipulate, attack. It's my only choice. It's the only way I can feel powerful and maybe important. As soon as we see we don't need it, we drop out. It's another way of saying we don't need that person to change in order to feel powerful. In fact, that's the very thing that would keep you feeling powerless. Has it worked? Have you been able to change him?
No.
No. He's a man. Can you see that the truth is powerful?
Yeah.
It's powerful because it needs nothing. It's self-evident, self-illuming. I'll put it this way. When I don't need to be powerful, I start to feel powerful. So let's just feel it again. Dad, I also want to share with you that I've had this thought that I need to change you, control you, make you feel pain, have revenge. And that if I do that, I'd feel powerful. But I'm realizing that's the thing that has made me feel so powerless and even weak at times. And if that's hurt, harmed you, or pushed you away in any way, I'm sorry. Realizing it's not true, that I'm powerless, and that I need to change you. And I'm working on it.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable with that now.
Hmm? So we're just at the end of our session, and what I'll give you between now and our next one is first, it might be helpful to re-listen. This will be sent to you. But resolution, what resolution looks like, is essentially the version of you that is the total opposite of the hiding, shut down, walk on eggshells, angry one. It's the exact opposite, lived with him now. So these conversations are just pointers. I'm pointing to that version of you. Who would I be in the absence of I'm not important? Who would I be in the absence of I'm weak and powerless? Well, I might just tell the truth about the experience and actually let myself love this person again. And when that feels safe to do, I would assert and suggest that this will turn off the program. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't want to rush. I'm going to send you a video called How to Have Difficult Conversation. I'm going to send that to you. watch that. And then if you feel like you can have the conversation, have it. If you feel like you want to do one more session on it, we'll do one more session. We'll extend it to 4. This is the thing. It's almost like you give your body a totally different imprint of somebody. Oh, wait a second. Last time I was here, it was unsafe for me to just fall apart, to tell the truth about it, to open up, because that is an expression of safety. And now my body goes, oh, wait, what I used to mark as a danger or proof that I'm not important, I'm now having the totally opposite experience. And then there it goes. So if you feel ready for that, I would say have that conversation. Definitely watch the video I'm going to send you. And if you don't feel ready, that's fine. We don't want to rush it. We can have another session on it until that feels totally accessible. That is the resolution, by the way, right there. That feeling that this is totally accessible. I can choose this tomorrow. It's that feeling that's the actual resolution, not the lived experience. But I always say, why not do both? Because there's a massive opportunity for a totally different relationship when it's done from the heart. Any questions before we go?
No.
Okay. Thank you for your courage. I could tell you really pushed yourself and and you were really honest. So you are on the path. Yeah. Okay, Monica. I'll see you in your third session. You can let me know, maybe take a day or so, and you can email me if you want to do one more session on this, or if you feel ready to have the phone call, and then we'll book from there.
Hold.
Okay. Okay, good work, Monica. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Take